Hello and welcome back. For just a few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about some basic experiences I had that pertain to race and ethnicity. Excuse me. When I was only 13, I was a very precocious child, which is to say, I was interested in things that older children did, as it were. And I asked my parents if it would be okay if I went out on a date with a girl, and they reluctantly, eventually, after my begging and begging and begging, perhaps 1,000 times, entertained the idea and asked me, well, what do you think you're going to do with your date? Where are you going to go? You're too young to drive, and so on and so forth. And I told them, how about you take us to Astroworld, which was the amusement park, sort of like Six Flags in Houston at the time, and drop us off in the morning and pick us up in the evening, and we get to spend the day together, and that would be cool. So, my mom's light bulb in her mind lit off, and she probably realized that'd be a great way to be away from me for 10 or 12 hours. So she agreed, and I called one of my old classmates from Catholic school. I had attended Catholic school for the first 7 years, and then moved on to public school there at 8th grade and thereafter. And one of my friends was Kathleen O'Beer, and I called Kathy and I said, "Hey, Kathy, how would you like to go to Astroworld with me?" And she said, well, that sounds like it would be great. We hadn't actually talked to one another for a year or so before that because the public school we went to was very big. But anyway, she asked her parents if that would be okay. And I could hear through the very, very effective telephone device of the day all of the sounds in her house. I could hear her mother washing dishes. I could hear the dogs underneath the table. I could hear her father turning the pages of the Houston Chronicle. I could also hear Kathy say to her father, "Hey, Dad, is it okay if I go to Astroworld this weekend? Would it be okay?" And he said, "Who are you going to go with?" And she said, "Russell Castro." And he said, "Russell Castro, you ain't going nowhere with no goddamn Mexican." And this was so hurtful and offensive to me. I couldn't really believe what I'd heard. It just, for the first time ever, it had been brought to my attention that even though it had been my perception up until that time, some people around there in Texas thought that I wasn't white, and that obviously white people shouldn't be treated the same way as others. They should have some sort of privilege, which I obviously wasn't entitled to, and it was a hurtful moment for me. That made me realize that the concept of race and ethnicity is a very difficult one. And as a child who didn't understand it scientifically or otherwise, I spent the next hour, maybe 2 hours, in the bathroom scrubbing my face over and over and trying to understand how it was that I wasn't white, how I came up short, what was wrong, why I should be discriminated against. Anyway, it set the stage for what we might call my understanding of race and ethnicity. Not necessarily a pleasant one, but one which is definitely informed by science and sociology, and I'll be sharing that with you.